Alright, so I'm in South Africa, and this behind me is the Long Walk to Freedom. And the first set of studies here basically had to do with the War of Resistance, where the tribes in South Africa fought against the Dutch and the Spanish because they didn't want them to take their land away from them. So this is known as a War of Resistance. As we go further up to the front, we're going to see the real walk to freedom, where activists were fighting to allow black people the freedom that they deserve in their own land. So come with me, walk with me as we go through this long walk. Alright, so these are the Xhosas. This was a clan that Nelson Mandela is from. The story is that he was the prominent chief of the Xhosas, and the Dutch came and the Dutch fought them. And the British came and the British fought them, and they cut off his ears and his genitals and sent it to Queen Victoria as a sign of victory. Now these two chiefs, in reprisal, they went along with the Dutch basically, and they got arms from the Dutch, and they came together to fight the British. Okay, so in that way they were able to defeat the British. But the Dutch, for exchange, they started asking these two men, the Xhosas, the chiefs of the Xhosas, forgive me for these names, to fight against other African tribes. So this is what started the fight against them and the Zulus. So this marked the beginning of the fight or the war between or amongst Africans. It is rumored that the coloreds in South Africa started with this man, Dr. Johannes van der Kemp. He was a physician, but while he was en route to Cape Town or to South Africa, his boat capsized and his family drowned, and he was the sole survivor. And a missionary ship was passing by and helped to save him. When he got to the Cape, after a couple years, he was allowed to marry a freed slave, I don't remember her name, who was 45 years his junior, and that basically started the so-called colored race in South Africa. Whenever we think of the War of Resistance, we think about great warriors like Shaka Zulu. Whenever we think about the Black movement, we think about great activists like Martin Luther King Jr. Whenever we think about apartheid, we think of Nelson Mandela. But the truth is, there's so many people who fought for freedom. Let's learn about some of them. Fidel Castro is a great Cuban leader and revolutionary. He helped the ANC, helped to train the fighters of the ANC. He also sent a troop to Angola when they were in exile. So you see, the Caribbean has had such a great influence in helping to end apartheid. Dr. Zuma was the first African man to ever study medicine abroad in the Americas and Europe. After he finished studying and came back to Africa, he was not allowed to practice medicine. He was only allowed to do CPR, reason being he was not allowed to share the same ward as the white doctors, all an influence of apartheid and segregation. Stratham had introduced passports to African men, and they had to walk with these passports everywhere they were going. At one point, he wanted to introduce it to the women as well. These three women were very instrumental in organizing a march to the South African Union office to fight against that law. They said, we want our rights, we want our freedom, we do not want to be walking around with passports. Do not pass that law that women have to walk around with passports. So women throughout centuries have been very strong and influential figures in politics and in organizing for change. Basil de Oliveira was a very famous cricketer in South Africa, but he was not allowed to join a team because, of course, he was black. In 1960, he was able to secure transit to England, and when he got there, he became the first black man to be a part of the English cricket team. In 1968, when He was selected for the English tour of South Africa. He was denied a visa by the then South African government. The entire team boycotted the match because he was not allowed to go. This brought like international fame to the whole situation that was happening in South Africa, and South Africa was banned from the cricket union or whatever it is, cricket association, whatever it is that it's called, and they were not reinstated until 1994 at the end of apartheid.
Così si keleli Afrika, malu pagani su ponlolwayo, izwa imitanda zoyetu. Così si kelela tina lusapolwayo, murena buluka se chabasa Yesu, ufedi se dintwale matwenye o se buluke si chabasa Yesu si chabasa. South Africa, South Africa. Uit blauw van onze hemel, uit die diepte van ons zee, oor ons eeuwige gebergtes, waar die kranse antwoord geeft. Sounds the call to come together, and united we shall stand. Let us live and strive for freedom in South Africa, our land.